Next topic is description by foreign travelers. Greek ambassador Megasthenes from the court of Chandragupta Maurya has written Indica. It tells about the reconstruction of ancient India under the Mauryan Empire and shows us the rich culture and economy of India. Greek sailor Ptolemy gives information about ports of India. Much of medieval astronomy and geography were built on his ideas. Chinese travelers Fahin and Huan Sang have given unique descriptions about the social life, rulers, and culture of the time of Chandragupta II and Harshvardhan, respectively. They both were Chinese Buddhist monks who described their journey in the form of travelogue and precious manuscripts that were then translated to Chinese. Traders knew routes. In ancient times, India was a rich country well known for its trade and commerce of various commodities with foreign countries. India's prosperity was at its peak that time. Trade was done mainly either through land route or through sea routes. Let's learn in detail about trading in ancient India. A city considered as a major port of Harappan civilization, Lothal, where a carriage, dockyard, and warehouse was found, which provide information about sea transport, pottery utensils, and various kinds of jewelry was made and sold by the people of Lothal. Trading of beads made from oysters and ivory was done. Indian spices and condiments and precious stones were in great demand during ancient times. Ancient India was far ahead in comparison with other countries of those times in terms of trade. Cotton, silk, and spices were exported to Europe via Central Asia. Indian goods were known for its excellence. Cotton textile, silk textile, spices, cinnamon, and timber were exported, and gold, silver, and other items were imported to east and west part of the world through international ports like Khambat, Bharuch, Sopara, and Tamralipti. The Silk Route was network of trade routes which connected the east and the west and was central to the economic, cultural and political and religious interactions between these religions. People traveled from China to remote areas on foot and on horseback and carried silk cloth. Due to this, the route was called Silk Route. Merchants of China, India, Iran, Arabistan, and Rome were associated with this trade route. Ports of South India were known centers for exporting black pepper and other spices. Now, see paintings in ancient India. Pictures not only express the emotion of human beings but also portray the actual situation of that time. Painting as an art form has flourished from early periods in India as the evident from various epics other to present archaeological services. The oldest paintings were found in Neolithic era. Natural caves and smaller shelters in India were often contain prehistoric paintings. 500 paintings of Neolithic age have been found at Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh. It is about to the oldest known art by humans. Bagh caves and Amravati associated with Indian culture have been found. Bagh caves are a group of 9 rock cut monuments situated among the southern slopes of the Vindhyas in Bagh town. Paintings of Ajanta Ellora depicting Buddha's Jatak stories and Buddha's sadhana are found in large number. They depict the past life and rebirth of Buddha, pictorial tales, and rock cut sculptures of Buddhist deity. Padmapani is jewel of Indian culture. It literally translates into one who holds the lotus. Shiva temple of Ellora caves is carved out of a single massive rock and is the largest of 34 Buddhist, Jain and Hindu care temples and monastery. Now let's understand the architecture of ancient India. Town planning of Harappan civilization proves that they lived a highly civilized and developed life. They had planned to teach with scientific training system, uniformity in Baths, granaries, industrial units, and rainwater harvesting are the best example of engineering of ancient India. It includes cave architecture, temple architecture, and architecture of places. Cave architecture is also called rock cut architecture. It includes hills of Barabar, Nasik Hills, Ajanta Ellora, and Amravati. Talking about sculpture of ancient India, let's learn about the art form. Art is not what you see, but what you make others see. Art of making idols was fully developed in ancient India. Two art styles prevalent during that time: Gandhar art, which was a confluence of the Greek and Indian style of Mathura art, which was completely Indian style of art. Gandhar art is created numerous statues of the Buddha in a religiously naturalistic fashion. Many artifacts have been found in Takshashila and Gandhar in Afghanistan in northwestern India. Buddha statues were made in large number. Buddha statues have been found in Bamiyan and Charsoda in this style. These caves were originally used by Buddhist monks for meditation and retreats. Madura art was a style of Buddhist visual art that flourished in the trading and pilgrimage center of Madura. It was completely Indian style of art in which Buddha statues as well as idols of Hindu deities were made. Specimens of sculptures in Madura art form have been found from Amravati, Ajanta, Nasik, and Sarnath. Understanding stupas and viharas, which were part of the Buddhist architecture. Stupa is a small dome shaped architecture in the middle of which the relics were buried, and the Buddhists practiced meditation there. And viharas were the ancient Indian term for Buddhist monastery that were originally constructed to shelter the monks during rainy season when it became difficult for them to lead a wanderer's life. Buddhist architecture includes stupas, chaityas, and viharas. The monumental construction of life of Buddha began in the form of stupas. They were made first time during Vajji Union. Stupas were constructed in large number. Ashoka's Sachi stupa, which is known for its four lions standing back to back, Stupa of Lumbini, which remains an important place of pilgrimage, and Stupa of Sarnath, which is said to be the place where Lord Buddha gave his first sermon to the five deities, are very famous. Kings of Shang dynasty constructed wooden work around stupas. Kanishka got a huge stupa constructed in Purushpur called Sahaji Ki Devi. Path around the stupas is constructed for Pradakshina. Chaityas are a major center of Buddhist art. In Chaityas, columns, doors, huge prayer halls were carved and given shape of a temple. Chaityas of Amravati, Bauj, and Karla are world famous as they consist of an apsidal hall stupa. The column slopes inward in the imitation of wooden column that would have been naturally necessary to keep the roof up. Jain and Buddhist monks studied in viharas. Huin Sang wrote about hundreds of viharas in North India and Gujarat. The statues of Gomteshwar in Shravan Velganda is associated with Jain architecture and is world famous. It is the tallest monolithical statue in the world, carved out of a single block of granite. A number of caves are located in Gujarat. Khambalida caves are situated at the foot of small hillock on the bank of Strait. They are carved out of limestone rocks. Dhang caves in Rajkot were cut out of calcareous sandstone outcropping during the region of the Western Satras. The caves are influenced by Buddhist and Jain culture. Uparkot caves in Junagadh are ancient man-made caves that were used as monk quarters. Khopra Khodia caves are the plainest and oldest of all caves in the route. Baba caves in Junagadh, which are also known as Baba Pyara caves, contain artworks of both Buddhism and Jainism. Talaja caves in Bhavnagar are rock cuts and carved into deserted into conical rocks. Sana Caves in Gir Somnath is a group of 62 Buddhist rock shelters that had been carved out of soft rocks. Heritage in education. When we look into the civilization that existed in ancient India and the way they lived, it seems that higher education and technical education has been imparted in India since 4000 years. Many educational institutions remains have found in Mohenjo-daro. It is called bronze civilization as people during this time were using bronze and had knowledge of bronze technology. Chemistry, civil engineering and mechanical engineering were prevalent in India since the time of Harappan culture. All this can be seen in the way forts, houses, baths and roads were made. Secondly, the development of textile and shipping also makes the information relevant. Element of religious training and imparting of traditional knowledge was done by sages and scholars orally. The remains of Vidyapeeths have been found in ancient India. Both formal and informal ways of education existed. Takshashila near Gandhar region was a great educational pilgrimage that taught ethics, Sanskrit, grammar, astronomy, and astrology, Hinduism, and philosophy. Great philosophers like Panini, Chanakya, Chandragupta, Jivak had become renowned from these educational institutions. A Buddhist center of learning, the famous educational institution in Bihar was Nalanda University that attracted scholars and students from as far as China, Greece, and Persia. Chinese monk Huan Sang visited it. Hindu and Buddha philosophies were taught here. Nagarjuna of Nalanda Vidyapith was a great chemist who used ash of mercury as a medicine for the first time. A great Vidyapith was there in Vallabhi of Gujarat in 6th or 7th century. Huan Sang has written about this university in his travelogue. The system of admission is in this university during ancient time consisted of entrance exam, written examination and then interview. That means modern educational system was prevalent at that time also. Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism also with meditation, astrology and astronomy were taught here. In Bengal, two Vidyapiths existed, namely Vikramshila and Anantapuri existed where a large three-storied library of Buddhism was built. Vikramshila was one of the largest Buddhist university and is known to us mainly through Tibetan sources. Anantapuri was a Buddhist Mahavihara in what is now Bihar. It served as a model and inspiration for Tibetan Buddhists. Coins. Ancient Indians were the earliest issuers of coins in the world along with the Chinese and from Middle East. Coins represent prosperity of India in past. Oldest coins are known as Panchmark coins of 5th century BC made of silver of a standard weight. These coins had different markings. Indo-Greek rulers introduced special kind of gold coin with king's mark. His photo and his time was also mentioned. Samudragupta's coin with him playing veena and killing lions suggests that he was an accomplished poet and also played music. Chandragupta with his picture along with Queen and Garuda depict the various facets of Gupta rulers' personal and social life. Chandragupta II, also known as Vikramaditya coins, depict his martial spirit and peacetime pursuits. Since Vikrams and Garud flag coins have been found in large numbers. They give information about India's prosperity as they are mostly made of gold. India's great cultural heritage is unique throughout the world. With this, we come to the end of this chapter.